Already faced the challenge to cache stealth, no safecracking, no scrambler, and unskilled, so that means that we're going to be using a drill. And even though it's no scrambler, hopefully we won't have the screwdriver in a rather unfortunate spot. That is somewhere that's actually behind a keycard door, which would be rather suboptimal, but aside from that, there's unskilled, which is overall not really all that great for cache, but what is behind a locked door, which is generally great, so we're just going to go through here, and then we're just going to, well, get one of the panels open, and, well, more accurately, just hack the cameras, because we can't actually really open that panel, but we'll just imagine it that way, shall we? And instead, we're just going to go over there, check over there, and then go downstairs over here and get it hacked over here, which should be relatively simple, because that makes the cameras, well, no longer problematic. So, for now, we're just going to go over here, and then just drop a drill, since there's not really any need for it for now, but aside from that, we're gonna... Well, we've got to run all the way back over there, which might take a while, but for the most part, things should be generally alright, so... We're just gonna work with that. And then we're just gonna go over here. And then we're just going to awkwardly wait for a decent opportunity. That is when there's no one standing over there, so that we can just run right inside and not have any problems, or... more accurately, just not have any resistance from any problematic guards, which... If all of you could just... There's one guard behind a cubicle there, and then there's one right outside a window over there, and then the other two are upstairs, so I really wouldn't consider this a good time to... Well, this is a much better time compared to earlier, and we've got a keycard, which is always great, so we'll just take you. And then you just go all the way here, hopefully before anyone shows up. And then we'll bring you outside, once again, hopefully before anyone shows up. Before we quickly shut these doors and hopefully not have anyone notice anything, which is a rather poor choice to make, because it's just not actually all that safe, but hopefully no one walked towards the gun over there, which seems to not be the case, and now that we've got a keycard, it's not really all that helpful, but at least we can start by getting the screwdriver, which we very, very much want. Keep moving. And then we'll go through here, we'll go upstairs, and then afterwards, well... this shouldn't be all that difficult. Well, it seems like that's over here, so we've got the power box downstairs, which is gonna be quite frustrating since... well, because the power box is downstairs, if someone does drop downstairs to try and, well, disable the power box or cut a wire over there, things are gonna be much, much more difficult now because it's, for a start, downstairs, and that means there are 3 guards roaming about, and there's basically one set of rotations where everything's gonna go perfectly alright, which... it's a bit of a dream, so we're probably gonna have to take out someone downstairs, but for the most part, things should be relatively alright if you just keep moving and don't cause any problems, which, as long as you stand over there, will mean that you're gonna be causing some problems. So we might genuinely just use a drill for that, since that would make things so much simpler, but so far we're making all of the guards far more alert of us, which is probably not the way to go, but we'll leave it at that. And then we'll get ourselves up before we actually go upstairs, and then afterwards we'll subsequently get it open, and then go downstairs and grab the drill before we finally go downstairs yet again to actually get things done. So now that you're walking away, we're just gonna get this panel open. And then hopefully no one's gonna notice anything, because that's generally not considered all that great. So once we do that, we're just gonna go through here, go out over here, absolutely no one's gonna notice anything. And then we're going to go back down through here. And once again, the ideal scenario is that you don't notice anything, because that's kind of what we want. And I'm realizing that we need to drop our screwdriver over here so that we can actually grab the keycard and then get inside over here, which... I guess we could go via outside, but that's unfortunately over there, which does hinder what we want to do by quite a bit. So we're just gonna wait over here instead, and well, if you could just walk away, things will be quite great. Not towards me, though, that's maybe not what I want, but if you could just keep walking, we could very well do this, and then get this road open. Now, the thing about drilling is that it's, well, plausible, as in we won't have to restart all the way from the beginning if we do mess it up, so... if in the case of having 3 guards, and conveniently all of them are right beside this box, staring at a box when we don't want them to be staring at a box, then, well, we could just awkwardly stop and resume as needed, which is exactly what we're kind of doing, so... Now that that kind of works, we're just going to first of all get this door open. And then we're just going to awkwardly wait over here by organizing our inventory, and then afterwards just waiting over here, which... I mean, for a start, someone's definitely going to go over there and well, reset the alarm. But we do see them going inside right now, so we should be expecting someone walking over there right on now, which would presumably be that guard over there, which... If you could just quickly reset it over there, and then afterwards go somewhere very, very much convenient, that would be quite great. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's going downstairs just yet, but we'll find out soon enough, and well, if... So, in other words, since... You know, for a second I did actually think that the guard was going outside, which evidently is not actually the case here, or doesn't appear to be the case here, so we're just going to... Well, for a start, grab the keycard, get it out of reach, and then afterwards start considering how we're gonna get that guard somewhere convenient, which... You could just walk down, that would be great, but it seems like you don't want to do that, so we're gonna have to do this the slightly more awkward way, which I suppose is perfectly alright. Thanks for shutting the door on me, but if you could just go over here, we could drop a keycard right over here, and then, well, you could be perfectly oblivious. Now, you've got a radio anyway, so it's not really all that problematic. What is problematic is if a guard shows up right over here, which would be quite detrimental to our goals over here, which is to just not get caught. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because we do need to get this bagged up relatively quickly. Which makes things a bit terrifying, but for the most part, we should be relatively alright. Because if you get inside here fast enough, you could just dump that in the corner over there, and then afterwards get this, well, set up over here. And whilst we don't actually need a keycard right now, I do quite want one, but we only need a lockpick and a drill to get the door open over there. And then afterwards get that, well, safe open over there, which... I suppose we could just take advantage of precision drilling and then afterwards not have a lockpick and then afterwards just have a keycard, but that's not really feasible here because it's unskilled and, well, we don't actually have precision drilling. Now we could just breach it that way, but at that point might as well just shoot the door and then afterwards just keep shooting so that hopefully no one actually walks upstairs because it's cash, and if we take out every single gun in existence, things are going to go quite poorly, so we're just going to get this safe open eventually. Because for a start, there's no safecracking, so we have to drill, and it's unskilled, which means that we basically don't have any over-drill perks, or for that matter, we have none. So it's gonna take a while. Which means we're gonna be here a while. And unfortunately, I can't just crack the safe over there. Nor can I interrogate anyone for the keycard, because that's not a keycard that we used to open that, it's a combination, but we, regardless, still can't interrogate anyone for that. So as we awkwardly get it open, hopefully, no one's gonna be standing right outside, because that would be rather inconvenient. And unfortunately, we also can't use the C4, as unfeasible as that may be. But you know what, maybe just maybe no one's gonna hear it, which I find highly unlikely, but we'll just grab the USB over there, we'll go through here, and then we'll quickly go inside over here, and unfortunately we can't just break windows because first of all they're alarmed, then secondly, we can't actually shoot that window open, which seems a bit like a given, but nonetheless, we're gonna go through here, we're gonna go downstairs over here, we're gonna grab the completely unnecessary keycard, or one of the two unnecessary keycards, and then we're just gonna get out of here. I mean, that's really all there is to it, so we're just gonna run through here, and hopefully we are not gonna be any guards, which so far doesn't seem to be the case, so we could just go over here. And whilst in theory we could shoot a window, that's probably not a good idea. So regardless, that's the daily challenge in just under 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Cheers everyone, have a great time!